Qu'est-ce que j'avais te nommer?
Welcome back to Saint to Siren podcast with Pamela Cappetta, also known professionally as the Dominatrix. Today, my guest is Sasha the Destroyer, an elite New York City BDSM mistress who does cyber, virtual, and IRL. Sasha is known for elite clientele, razor-sharp boundaries, a reputation that travels. We're talking about the mechanics behind the persona, consent, negotiation, boundaries, emotional labor, and why powerful people seek power exchange. Adult themes, listener discretion advised. NSFW, we're pulling back the curtain on what people think this world is versus what it actually is. Stay tuned. Today, I am super excited. I'm going to be interviewing Sasha the Destroyer. She is a dominatrix and a Findom, New York City mistress. She is financial dominatrix, masterclass in boundaries. Today, we're going to expose the psychology behind why men pay to surrender control. Here we go. Meet Sasha.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I heard your podcast and I loved it. And I was like, I have to be on this podcast.
I love that you did that because I don't think many women have that kind of forward-thinking intuition. So the fact that you did that was just such a blessing to me. And I'm fascinated by you because, if I may say so, Sasha is a faceless. Do you prefer to be a mistress, a Findom, a dominatrix? How do you prefer to be referred to?
Yeah, so I call myself a dominatrix or a mistress. I am a faceless, both content creator and in person, living in New York City, so catering to the New York City crowd. And it's truly lovely because I explore a lot of different kinks, and we'll talk about all of this today on your podcast.
So many questions. I don't even know where to begin. So did you just say that you're faceless in person?
Well, obviously people see my face in person once they meet me, but when it comes to showing up online and then when people meet me, they'll see the images without my face and then they'll see me in person with my face.
So I didn't know. Maybe perhaps that when you're in person, you're like masked or something. So I didn't know if there was.
Yeah, that'd be really cool too. Definitely a thought. I mean, maybe that's a kink in itself for a future to do.
Yeah, I love it. We're reinventing as we go along. Okay, so tell me this. You primarily work, I know when we first started talking, I think you said something like you're 90% Manhattan based. Do you travel? Do you have a dungeon? Can you give me the lay of the land of like your kind of realm?
Yeah, so I'm 95% Manhattan based. I cater to like the New York City tri-state area crowd, primarily because there's a huge kink community here. Like, I feel like the kink hubs are New York, Florida, and Los Angeles. I know you're in Las Vegas. I am. That's definitely like a growing hub as well. But some of the more central, like middle states, it tends not to. There's this growing attraction towards it, but they don't tend to be kink hubs. So when people travel to New York City, they come and they find me, or just kind of like native, more people that are more familiar with the kink world, they tend to gravitate towards these areas: New York, Florida, Los Angeles, Vegas.
I completely agree. My clients are concentrated in San Francisco, LA, Manhattan, and every now and then I'll get Atlanta, Florida, Georgia, Florida. But yeah, mine are literally San Francisco, LA, New York, period.
Exactly. And I really came to find BDSM initially through a relationship, but quickly after I started to go to kink parties in New York City.
Now, you discovered this in the realm of the relationship, in the confines of the relationship. Were you dom or sub? And how many years ago was this?
I was a dominant. He asked me to be a dominant. So I like had no clue. I was like, I guess so. And he's like, I'm going to worship you. And I was like, okay. And then a couple months later, I was like, I kind of fucking love this. This is awesome. And, he paid for everything, all that stuff. And
was he older?
He's a little bit older. He was a little bit older.
Love it.
And then from then on, I was like, you know what? Like, this is what I like. And it's stuck in my psyche. And then I moved to New York and I was like, oh, there's this whole world out here with the kink community and I want to explore it. So I joined FetLife and started going to BDSM parties.
What was that? I've never been to one. I am a party virgin. So like when I hear this, and I'm like a voyeur. So like when I hear this and I think of it, I get like super excited. I can't wait to go to one. But tell me what your first one was like. And again, how many years ago was this?
Oh, this was like roughly 8 years ago, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first party, I always tell everyone, I was like, I vetted someone off of FetLife and I went together with him. And the first party I walk into is called a clothed female naked male party. So that's like that. I don't know if you addressed that in the kinks before, but like the male to be nude, the female to be fully clothed. That's kind of a kink in itself because the men are more vulnerable and everything like that.
I've never heard of this. I am so embarrassed.
Have you heard of it? No, that's okay.
So while I do conduct my cyber sessions this way for the most part, what?
Oh, definitely.
I want to go to this. Keep going, Sasha.
Yeah. Okay, so I walk in. But I kid you not, right in front of me, I see this woman pegging this guy. Like dead set. I open the door, it's right there. And I'm like, holy shit. Because this was addressed in my relationship in the past. He was like, can you peg me? I was terrified. That was 8 years previous when he asked me to do that. I was like, hell no. And I saw that and I was like, in my mind, I was like, does this hurt them? And so we go out to her after she's finished. I'm like, I literally asked her, does this hurt them? And she's like, no, they love it. And she literally put a glove on me. She's like, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to do it. And I was like, I was floored and I was hooked. So I kept going to BDSM parties from then on.
This is so fascinating to me because I always say I am a Findom and I don't get my hands dirty, which is why I will be forwarding you many, many clientele henceforth. But I always tell my clients, don't even bring up a strap on in like a fantasy scenario because even in the fucking fantasy, I'm going to outsource it. I will sit in a corner, smoke a vape, drink champagne, and orchestrate the dog and pony show. I will have that mistress annihilate you every way to Sunday, but I'm like, don't expect me to put a strap on. So I am fascinated by your psyche that drives you to do this, like that, to want this.
Well, there is so much to it because over time, I mean, so I'll keep going with the story. Over time, I kept learning new kinks. Like I learned new kinks, I learned new activities. I learned how to flog. I learned more about foot worship. Like I learned through going to these parties. And so that was kind of my education, if you will. Some people go and they train at a formal dungeon. I trained with like other people, asking questions, asking feedback, everything like that. And really after that, I was like, oh, what do I really like to do? And I thought to myself, I love to get a little good foot rub. I like, a little flogging, but like there's something about pegging that just, I don't know, for me as a woman, being able to have a man spread and to be taking him is like a total role reversal. And I mean, these are like, CEOs, hedge fund managers, stuff like that. And they're just taking it. And I'm like, I love it.
So it's a total power trip, control, power exchange for you. You really get in that headspace.
Absolutely. And there's more than just the power switch. There is actually such a thing called the prostate orgasm.
I'm sorry, you said prostate what?
Prostate orgasm. So there is such a thing called a prostate orgasm that a lot of men don't understand that they have the capability of doing. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the G-spot orgasm. It's for women. Women can have different types of orgasms, G-spot, A-spot, everything like that. The prostate orgasm is the male version of a G-spot orgasm.
Fascinating.
Meaning they can have like release, but not actually releasing anything, but more of like a full body orgasm for as many times as they want.
What?
Without coming, which is crazy.
Do most men, are they aware of it? Like, are they coming to you being like, give me that multiple whole body orgasm, or do you have to teach them?
I usually teach people. They have no clue. Like, they have no clue that's out there because what media shows us about sexuality is like this, that, in bamboo. Like, that's it. And there is so much to the human body that's amazing what we're capable of doing and everything like that. Like, And so part of what I enjoy as well is being able to take someone there and be like, yeah, you never knew this for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Your body can do that, believe it or not. And I make it happen.
Amazing. Literally, I had no idea. Keep going, Sasha.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like, most of the fun of pegging specifically is the ability to take on men that are like twice my size, twice my age, everything like that, to have that power. And also like just be able to share the knowledge. Like there's not a lot of places both on the internet as well as in person to explore that, and in a safe space. A lot of the misconceptions would be like, a lot of men feel like the moment you put anything backdoor is like, oh, I'm gay. And that's so not true at all. Men are they're just in a situation where some of their erogenous zones are in a different spot than for women. So there's a huge kink community in New York City and in also like Florida, LA, where there are parties, there are ways to communicate with people. There is a thing called a munch, which is more of like a social gathering. It's not like a play party or anything like that. A play party is where you get to explore fetishes and, like learn flogging and everything like that. A munch is more just like a cocktail hour. And it's just, I just want to be able to meet people.
Yeah, I'm sure. How does one find a munch?
So I've been a member through FetLife for years upon years. And so that's like a good jumping point. But when you start to get into the community, you understand that a lot of the times it's who you know and how do you know them. So the events on FetLife are usually public or semi-public. Sometimes you have to get vetted for these parties. Sometimes you can show up at the door, but typically vetting is encouraged because you want to make sure that everyone in the party environment is understanding of the rules. So like the consent rules and what's allowed, what's not allowed, everything like that. And then beyond that, there's different levels of parties. So like there's super public ones anyone could go to. There's the vetted ones. And then there's the like ultra high end ones where it's like, super secret or like even like a high membership fee to participate.
Ultra high level. I am so taken with this. So you obviously have infiltrated the ultra high level, the penthouse suite of munch play parties. How does that differ? How wildly does that differ from the public or even the vetted? And can you take me to one?
We could definitely arrange that. We could definitely figure that out. I have friends in the city and like, they know people who know people and all that stuff. When you're in the city, we can figure that out.
I would love that.
The differentiation a lot of times is just actually this sounds crass, if you will, but they want pretty people. Okay. They want pretty people to participate. They want beautiful people, and they want people that are going to be discreet. So people that, you're probably going to have to put your phone away or in a zipped bag or something like that. But discretion and beauty is important with these like kind of ultra high end events where they're not so worried about a situation where it's like, oh, I know who you are. Like you're kind of in a space where you're expected to kind of play it cool.
Play it cool. That's so fascinating. Yeah, because this is the general tenor of what we do with discretion, not being shocked, rolling with it. Is it the type of situation where you may see someone that you would never think would be there type of thing?
I guess it depends on like who you know or how you know them or whatnot. Like I'm more familiar with like economics and culture and finance and stuff like that. You might see people like that. Okay. And if you are aware of them, you might see stuff like that. But I haven't been to a party with a celebrity yet, per se. But like different people known in different industries.
Celebrities in their own right, maybe Wall Street.
Celebrities in their own right. Exactly. Absolutely.
And at the elite level, is it just like, like everybody listening to this is like, oh, this is the Illuminati stuff. Like, is it like no holds bar?
It's not, it's like a step below that. Like it's just, it's maybe, like CEOs, Wall Streeters, but not like crazy billionaires. Like I haven't been to a party with like an ultra billionaire.
I have a billionaire client in New York City that I can absolutely drag along to this. So keep going.
Yeah. I met someone, I think I mentioned to you earlier. I met someone who was so into kink and what is kind of like somewhat in the finance world and essentially built a penthouse apartment for himself to host personal parties where he would like bring people in, and he had a whole dungeon room just for himself in this penthouse apartment. I was floored. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to go to one of these parties?" And at the time, this was years ago.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, I don't know who I would bring. And now I'm like, oh, damn, I wish, I'll have to get into contact with him again. But
that's amazing.
I mean, people get really into this stuff.
Oh, I believe
like
it.
They'll build out. There's another person in Florida that they built out their entire house into a dungeon.
Oh my God. And these are all upper echelon people.
Upper echelon, mid echelon, like there's people of all walks of life that are into this, truly. And it doesn't, I would say like the kink community doesn't discriminate in the realm of like, if you want to get started, if you want to learn about it. Because a lot of people that are like, they're post-college, they're like, oh, I see this on the internet, I'm curious, like, experiment, like try things out and, see what you're into. There's always a starting point for everyone. But yeah, like eventually people who gain some success in their own right are like, yeah, I still think about this all the time, so I'm going to make a dungeon in my apartment.
Sasha the Destroyer, before I get too far into this interview, I forgot to get right out at the front end. How do you like to be found? What platforms do you like to be found on? How can my clients and my listeners reach you if they want to book a session? Any and all platforms and information socials, go.
So online, I am on Twitter. I am on Substack, and I just recently launched a Loyal Fans, and all of my ats are Sasha Destroyer 1, and the 1 is a number.
Okay.
On Substack, it is the same thing, Sasha Destroyer 1 is the number, and Loyal Fans as well, Sasha Destroyer 1 is the number.
Sasha, I think if people just Google you as well, they'll be able to find it, because I know that I did.
Yeah, they will be able to find me. I am working on a website, truthfully. I want some advice on that.
I absolutely. Listen, I have 2 websites going because Wix shut me down when they realized that I was doing something skirting on adult. They shut down they ripped all my pay services away from me, all my pay vendors. So then that was the violatrix.com. Then I had to start saint2siren.com, Saint number 2 Siren, so that I could get around. So now it's like this innocuous, oh, I'm a life coach and I'm this and I'm that. Like, it doesn't say anything about Findom so that I can skirt the legalities. So believe me, I can give you plenty of advice.
I heard that also if you have maybe like a .ch, like a Chinese website, or like the hosting is in China. I don't know. I need to look into that.
Yeah, there's probably different domains like .io or whatever those.
The hosting and like the hosting has to be on something. So I'm in the process of that. So like I don't have a formal website, but I also am on Trist. So that's like a formal listing site.
So for those that don't, so I was going to say, for those that don't know, my listeners, there's only a few actual tried and true vetted adult, hire somebody for actual adult services. And I think it's Eros and Trist. TRYST.
Even when you're looking for someone that does what I do, I highly recommend just looking up dominatrixes in New York City directories. And a lot of times there will be Trist is one of the top ones. Another is Lixa. Private Delights is another. There's a bunch of different ones that are out there. I would say if anyone is a coder, we are always in need of more. More is appreciated. But
okay. What was the other one you just said? I heard Trist, which, by the way, listeners, Trist is TRYST. Private Delights. And what was the Slixa?
Slick.
How do you spell that?
SLSLIXA.
Interesting. I've not heard of that one. That's great information, Sasha. Okay.
It's kind of an old school one. It's like an Arrows, but Arrows actually took down their BDSM section, so they don't have that anymore. And I'm a BDSM mistress. I'm not an escort. None of that stuff. So I'm strictly BDSM.
Got it. That's a great distinction. A lot of these are hosted out of other countries, like you said, like Asia, Australia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the USA. Speaking of which,
Due to politics.
yes, speaking of which, with all this stuff, like I am so admin like I am the worst with clerical and admin stuff. And like I said, TOS, I don't think I've ever read a TOS in my life, hence why my Violatrix was taken down on Wix. If I would have read the fine print, this probably wouldn't have happened. But I don't want to change lanes unless you want to, but do tell me how all this new legislation is going to be affecting the fact that you are BDSM mistress, but it still falls under sex worker.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of things that fall under sex work, like even any sort of images or anything like that, OnlyFans, all that stuff, night flirt, all that stuff is still. And right now we're really at a turning point with everything going on in politics with a lot of, I just sent you some links this morning about how a lot of social media websites are going to start to ask for ID to even get an account, keep your account. So, it's always maybe my little, political message right now is like, do what you can to fight back, if you will, and not too back, because I think it makes it more, we don't know who's going to have this information. And
is that the concern? Is that the concern? Yeah, no, I was going to say, is that the concern about the IDs, is that we don't know where our identification is going? Because I know, like, for example, with Night Flirt, when I upload goodie bags and things and they go through this whole vetting process and I have to say that it's me and we've been vetted through a third-party site, I do often wonder, am I in like some kind of Library of Congress annals of, adult XXX workers for the rest of my life? Generationally, will my great-great-grandchildren find this?
So the great thing about a lot of the websites that are set up for sex work is that they're actually hosted in other countries. And so they have to abide by the rules of whatever countries they are. So for instance, I think some are usually based in Switzerland or whatnot, where there's a lot more freedom with websites. And what they do initially, so say like a tryst.com, they'll do a verification test at the beginning and they'll use a third party, but the third party is trusted and they'll delete it entirely. And also they don't have any they genuinely don't have any personal gain by keeping it. Now, I can't assess for other websites. I think there's been other websites that have been compromised. But, do your research when you're getting into this stuff or even looking into this stuff for yourself. Like, you need to consider what information is going to be possible for other people to view. Now, when it comes to websites based in the US, so say like social media and everything like that, we are a highly capitalistic country. You have to remember that everything, you can make money on everything. And they do. And the problem with that is there's actually kind of a known concept to being able to verify someone's age in more of it's kind of a technological way. It's called the concept of zero proof knowledge. And it was a popular concept in the cryptocurrency age, like 2017, 2018. And it's the idea that you can say, well, I know I have a red bag. And I'm going to prove that by having a certain coin or putting a stake that both people can understand that I have a red bag. And therefore, if I show you this token, you know that I have a red bag too. But I don't actually have to show you the red bag.
Okay.
So that's the problem that we're facing here, is that we have to actually show that we have the red bag in order to get into these websites for both on the SWN, but now it's being integrated into the US for everything.
Okay.
And we don't know who's going to keep that information. And it's really good. Like, marketers love this information. You get your phone number, email, address. So these are websites like Discord just said that they're going to do ID verification. And 5 months ago, they got hacked and they had, I think it was like a couple thousand of their IDs were stolen because they kept that information on file, right? So it's important to push privacy, to be like, yes, we do want to prove that we're of a certain age. Like, that is sincerely important. But like, we shouldn't have to give up information that's that important that would reveal who you are and put you at risk. Put not just us doing this work, but like also the people in general that are just, on Discord or whatever, It's like you don't know what they're going to do with that information.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Sasha, tell me this. Let's dial back to you, your business, your clientele. What would be, is there like a Chinese menu? As Dutch, my last interviewee, he said he has a Chinese menu list of services. Do you have like a list of services, the type of male clients you're looking for? Things that you want to expand into, things that you want more clients in. Can you share any of that information with me?
Yeah. So I want to preface, people pay for my time. They don't pay for my services. So I will do that caveat and that disclaimer.
I love
there is no guarantees. And we do have to say that there is no guarantees of anything. But when it comes to the people that I like to spend time with, I am a girl who loves her beauty sleep. So I cater towards the individual that is, maybe he's in a 9-to-5, maybe he is a CEO, banker, lawyer, everything like that. Someone who's got a job, goes to work, does his stuff, but likes to enjoy this stuff and participate in it. So like my hours tend to be like 11 a.m. to like 7 or 8 p.m. I am not a late night girl. Some girls do that. Some girls like go out and party. I enjoy my beauty sleep.
I work similar hours. Yes, I feel the same way. Okay, so specifically, we're not going to mention the things that you do or like to do. They can just go look at your sites that we mentioned.
They can look at the sites. They can, based on the interview, they can get an idea of what I want to do. But I pay for my time. No guarantees.
Okay. And is much of what you do, is it mental, psychological? And do you do phone, or do you prefer phone? Do you prefer in person, IRL?
Yeah, so I mostly IRL.
Okay.
And then I just launched my Loyal Fans page, which I'm still figuring it out. Mostly it's been content, videos, photos, everything like that. And also the legislation of content is changing. So if you want anything that's considered, 18 plus, that is where you go when it comes to my stuff. Because soon enough, who knows where all these websites are going to go and deleting all that stuff. Your place to go to find that would be there, is my Loyal Fans. So it's loyalfans.com/Sasha Destroyer 1. And the 1 is a number.
1 is minimal, guys. But on your LF and in your cyber domination and services, what are your specialties and what do you look for with your cyber clients?
Yeah, so I haven't officially launched any sort of night flirt. I definitely am more interested, so we might talk more about that definitely soon, advice, all that stuff. But I've definitely done calls one-on-one, and it's been everything. I just got off a call this week with someone that wanted some dating advice. So it's everything from kinky dating advice or how to get a girlfriend to actually learning more about, okay, let me tell you what I think your kinks might be, or let's learn more about them. So there's that. And then of course, the lewd, nude kind of concepts as well, verbally or also on cam. I will preface, anything on cam, I am faceless. So do with that what you may, but those are the rules and you have to agree to them. Otherwise, you don't get that. So
otherwise, no dice. So are you finding that over the years, because, I've been doing this 18 years and things are always like anything, things are going in style and out of style. How have you seen things change? You said about 8 years ago is when the pegging situation happened with the boyfriend. So have you been in this about 8 years? And if so, what have you seen change or trends, anything?
Yeah, I've been in BDSM for about 8 years. I think there's been a huge wave of people that are interested in pegging. And I think I called it with the right, I called the right kink and wanting to go into it as well, because what pegging used to be in, I want to say the 80s or 90s, clients who are older tell me about this and they're like, pegging used to be considered a punishment. It wasn't considered a pleasurable experience.
It was
true. Almost
yes.
Yeah, the 80s and 90s and possibly 70s, pegging used to be considered a punishment, not something to enjoy pleasure, because it was kind of considered some sort of sodomy, sadistic, oh, I want to come here and I'll peg you. It was seen more as aggressive. And I think nowadays people are seeing it more as there is pleasure into it because of the prostate orgasm, and it can be sensual. The whole mommy-dommy, sensual dom is definitely a growing angle. A lot of times a very like what you think of as a 90s, 2000s dominatrix is like latex, high boots, tattoos, pale skin. But like what I actually look like is like a girl next door. I wear pearls. I wear tweed. I'm like very nice and sweet, but also at the same time, when I get you in a room, I'll make you do what I want you to do. Like I'm a sweet, bratty kind of girl that likes to take you on.
Sasha, I love this. I cannot tell you how much I love this, and I'm going to tell you why. About a week ago, and everybody knows I have two daughters. One is 20, one is 14. And about a week ago, because my daughters were the ones that asked me, all of my entire brand came up last March. Everything is just recent as of March, because my daughters came forward and said, Mom, there's women scamming other women on TikTok saying that they're Findoms and selling these courses. We need you to step out from the shadows. And I was like, over my dead body, why would I do that? Like, there's no upside in this for me, girls. And they were like, they shamed me. My girls are so savage. And they shamed me. They were like, well, if you don't do this, then you're not what you stand for, women helping women. And we don't know who you are. I was like, oh. I know, right? So last week, the girls said to me, one of my daughters said, Mom, you've changed the face of sex work. And I'm like, please, what are you talking about? Oh. And they said, well, up until you came out of the shadows and you're a doctor's wife and you live in a, whatever, like $1 million home and you drive this imported race car, like whatever. Mm-hmm. And the way I look or I speak and have an education and went to college, they said, up until you did this and came out from the shadows, every sex worker, like when they would think of Finn or sex work, you would picture like the girl with the kitty cat headband or like, cheetah print clothing or tiger print. It's not just that you've done this, but what you've done is open a door for more women who are in positions of prestige to come out with this. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. What you just said is so powerful that you are the girl next door. You are the last thing people would expect. You wear pearls and tweed. That is my favorite soundbite so far. I absolutely love it.
Definitely. And it also goes to show that like there is a market for every different type of personality. Like I think things would have been restricted more so like in the 90s and 2000s of like what a dominatrix was or like the ideal dominatrix of the time. But like personality and connection is really why people come back to me. Like I've had someone for over 2 years and like sometimes we don't like half the time that we're together, we're just laughing. He's trying, he likes to dress up. So he'll buy women's clothes and we'll dress him up and we'll get him all cute and stuff like that. And I teach him how to walk in high heels. And like, that's part of the fun of it. Like that's called sissy training, right?
Right. Sissification, sissy training.
Yeah. Sissification, sissy training. He actually isn't too into sissy training per se. He just likes to cross dress. So that's like a different distinction. But even then, it's like how you personally share your time with someone is the reason why they're connected to you and they want to come back. It's not all about being mean. It's not all about like telling people to get on the floor and like, oh, you're a fucking loser. Like that's a flavor of it. But there's so many different flavors to this.
I couldn't agree with you more. One of the biggest things that I am out there championing is that this is not smash and grab, Findom, BDSM, Mistress, Mummy, Mommy, any of this stuff. We are not pay my cell phone, pay my rent. This is not a smash and grab. If a Findom or a BDSM Mistress, Goddess, whatever she is, if she can't understand that it's the psychology, if you can't get behind the psychology and get to the root of why this man is coming to you, why this client is coming to you, then you're not doing the job. And it becomes so cliche and popular because of Twitter doms that it's just smash and grab. And I can't stand that.
Well, I think so. There's an interesting thing that happens politically and economically, and you will start to notice when you've been in the industry for a while. Anytime money is tight, there is a flood. And I mean a flood of people that start to do sex work, whether it's being a sugar baby, which is usually a gateway to a lot of this other stuff, being a sugar baby, being a Findom online on Twitter, being a dominatrix, being an escort. People just flood it. And I kid you not, like I always advise people like really think about this before you join this stuff because half the people don't like this. They'll do it for a week. They'll do it for a month. It's not for them. This is not work for everyone. And honestly, I discourage it unless you find that you either need it, want it, or you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I'm really, really good at this and I can do a really good job at this. But you'll see a lot of like kids that are in college or they're like, yes, I'm 18 plus. But like half the time they really do think that it is a smash and grab, and it's not. It is a lot more work than you realize. And I honestly, if you have the opportunity to get any other sort of job, I mean, being a content creator is hard too. Being an influencer is hard, but like the upside of being an influencer compared to doing this work, you don't have a ceiling with influencer work. Sometimes in this work, you have a ceiling. You only have so many hours a day that you can work. And for me, as a faceless creator and also in-person worker, there's only so many hours I can see people. There's only so many people I can see in a month. There's only so many content creation hours I could create. And that's a ceiling of my work.
That's so true, because it's not a physical product. It's us. And it's so interesting that you say this, because I haven't worked in 2 weeks. I am fucking burnt out. And I had to block 1 or 2 of my subs, had my phone number, which I never allow, but they found me through Instagram. So it was inevitable. And they're older. They're in their 70s. So I have concern. But I had to block everybody because they don't understand we are the product.
Yes. And that's also something too, like the amount of like, I'm going to get a facial this week, like, and I think we talked about taking care of yourself and everything like that. Like, especially when you do physical work, like you got to take care of yourself. I go and get massages done. Even I get professional massages done. People always ask me, oh, what, can I give you a massage? I'm like, no, because you're going to show up late. Like, I don't need anything for free. I'll just go pay for it.
Oh my God. You and I have the same on this. When the service subs are like, I'll do this, I'll do that around your house. I'm like, I don't fucking need that. Pay me. I can hire professional people to. Yeah, that's never appealed to me.
I like it every so often. And actually, one of the more useful, like domestic or a service related subs are drivers. Because I live in New York City and I don't have a car. So like anyone, if you're out there and you're in New York City, you could be my driver, but I do require license, ID, like, a check, some sort of security check to make sure it'll be okay. But yeah, I would say that there's certain things that are like higher level that are of use domestically, but like I could either do my own laundry or like send it out so easily.
Exactly. But you also just said something that I thought was so interesting, which is that you are absolutely 1000% correct on discouraging people, because what they think this is and the contrast between what this really is are so far apart. Not many women are cut out for it. And I learned that the hard way by trying to help, give a suggestion. Oh, I can teach you how to. Women, for the most part, even the sluttiest, and I don't mean to be a dick, but the sluttiest of women are like, oh, I could never do that. And it's like, you do it for free. Are you kidding me? But it is such, and like you said, Sasha, at the end of the day, they're buying your personality. They're buying you as the product. Yes. So few women are cut out for this, and you don't realize it until you refer people and they can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't get a choice. Once you set something up, and like I only take sessions with deposits, like I require a 50% deposit, and like you need to put your game face on.
Yep.
Every time. And for me, like I'm lucky I have a certain system. I take notes. I review over and over and over again before a session. What do they like? What words do they like to be called? All that stuff. Like I like to be spot on with what it is that I'm doing. I take notes. I take after session notes and everything like that. I keep track of stuff, because when you're in the room, like, and I manage it like a dance scene. Like I like it to be coordinated and beautiful,
like
choreographed. Positions of choreographed from one things to the next to be beautiful, because that's the thing that you don't get in a relationship. You don't get these amazingly curated scenes that would be like a scene in a movie. And that's what I love. I personally love to create that. That's why I put so much time and effort to create a scene and situation like that. But like, women imagining in a film where it's like, what's the latest one? Like Wuthering Heights. Yeah. It's like, they move around so perfectly and everything like that. Like there is a way to do that. But the amount of logistics you have to think through, okay, what hides the bed? How am I going to flip this person? How are you going to transition from that to this? Like you're on when you're in scene and when you're preparing for this stuff. And so in order to think about that, like you have to be in such a place to do so. Now, I'm probably different than other mistresses. Maybe other mistresses don't take notes, maybe they don't care, but like the way in which I do it, which is why people always come back to me, like my return rate is incredibly high because of this, is because I think of it like that. And I really try to, it's a coordinated dance that feels natural and is natural. It's not, I don't even think about it before. I'm not like, hey, 10 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that. Like I just flow like I'm dancing, like, salsa or something like that. And it's beautiful. That's why I do it.
What I'm so fascinated, first of all, I'm on your mailing list, and your mailers, your newsletters are so phenomenal. One of many of the things that have absolutely stood out about you to me is you are the consummate professional. I too take notes. I've never heard another Findom or mistress say that they take notes. I too have to remember little details, and I too use the words tailored, custom tailored session, bespoke. And I am so grateful that you found me, because rarely, if ever, have I heard another mistress, femdom, whatever she is, say anything like that, where we treat it like a business with a very personal, tailored approach.
Like, think about it, where the way I think about it is like you're being hired to be an actress. And it's not like that sounds bad per se, but like imagine being able to hire your favorite actor. Who's your favorite actor?
Oh my God, I have so many. Lately, I mean, I like Jacob. What was his name from Wuthering Heights?
Yeah, I forgot his last name.
I say
a very hot Jacob guy.
I say El Dorati, and my kids are like, it's El Dorati or El Rati. I don't care. Whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Frankenstein.
Imagine being able to hire him for your specific kink. Like, wouldn't that be incredible? So like that's the way I think about what it is that I do kink wise. Is like someone out there is like, I want like my favorite actors, my favorite whatever. And like I get to experience this on a level that's one-to-one, that there's connection and everything like that. And like it's something that is such a custom and tailored and bespoke experience that like, at least the way in which I do it. I can't speak to any other mistresses, but the way in which I do it.
Can you tell me what your favorite clients or sessions look like? Because my listeners are going to be immediately jumping to your site, and they're going to be waiting for their specific kink or trigger for booking phone or whatever it is. Can you run through what your favorite ones are?
That's such a hard question, and I won't say favorite because that would be an inaccurate term. I love when someone loves whatever they do or whatever they're into. So like pegging clients, all that stuff, come to me. Like I'll teach you more about your body than you learned in 20 or 50 years. Like pegging, I love body worship. I love being massaged. I love, spanking, edging, all sorts of stuff. I'm even training, because I don't know this one yet, but I'm training myself to get better at sounding, which is, I don't know if you've
I was just going to say, I have one client who introduced me to this, and then we did a session, and I really thought he was joking. And then like months later, I was in the Love store in like the dirty sex store on the strip, but it's like pretty or whatever, and they have security in there. And there was a glass case with all these like poking instruments. So for anybody who doesn't know, sounding is where a client likes to take sharp instruments, or even, I guess, blunt, dull, whatever instrument, and poke them into the urethral canal of the penis and get some sort of stimulation. And I know my listeners have no idea, like conch and ball torture. Yes, guys, there are men out there that like their balls tied up with their shoelaces tightly because it makes them more hard, makes them come harder. So this is so foreign, but go ahead on sounding. Tell me.
And I love conch and ball torture too.
Me too.
But yeah, so I was never formally trained on it, so I'm finding someone to formally train me on it. So like there's also like things that I'm open-minded to as well. My limits per se are like no blood, no scat of any kind. Scat is, we know what that is.
I always say mine, no blood, no needles, no potty play.
Exactly. No needles and any sort of permanent marks. I did have one point have a lifestyle submissive. He was a submissive for me for 2 years.
Can you tell us what a lifestyle submissive is?
Yes. So he was a lifestyle submissive and a slave to me. That means we had a contract. So he lived close by. Up in New York City, it's hard to have a live-in unless you have a big apartment. But essentially, he was like my 24/7 slave. He was retired, so he had the time. He had a little bit of money too. He paid my rent, everything like that. And he would be at my beck and call. So if I needed groceries, he would be here. If I wanted a little foot rub, he would be here and everything like that. So there's different levels of lifestyle submissives, but basically a lifestyle means that you're not paying per session, but you're more in it, whether it's for a relationship, an ongoing dynamic, maybe some sort of contract, but it's different than seeing someone on a professional basis or an hourly basis.
Amazing information. I didn't even know that. One of my followers on YouTube was like, you should make him sign a contract. And I was like, I've tried that contract bullshit. None of my subs ever hold to it. But if their lifestyle, did you lose him? Because I hate when I lose a whale.
No, he moved, so the logistics wouldn't work, but it's okay. We ended on good terms. We still speak to this day.
But anybody listening, she's open to lifestyle subs.
I am open to lifestyle. You have to make it worth my while. So a lot of people think, oh, I'll be your lifestyle, I'll do your laundry and everything like that and take all your time and not, pay for anything. And I don't need that.
Yeah.
Just hire me for professionally. But if you make it worth my while, then you're my right hand, someone that's maybe early retired or, a whale of some sort. Okay, you can sign up for that.
My favorite are the retired attorneys or retired Wall Street guys. Do you have any female clients? And do you take couples at all?
I do take couples. What I require from any other situation where it's more than just one person, they both need to be on the vetting call. I need forms of identification for both of them. And also they would be like some sort of security fee. So I would pay someone to essentially like escort me to and from the booking and stay there during the booking. They don't have to be in the room, but it's just to ensure my safety. Because of course there could be a situation where it's like anytime there's two people and it's just me, like, I'm outnumbered physically. So I just have to, in that case, I just pay for security or, I encourage them. Maybe it's like a double dom situation, hire someone else as well. But there needs to be some more security checks when it comes to couples.
Yeah, the safety aspect, safety protocol. This is brilliant. Now, you mentioned something. You can work out of a location or a dungeon, or you go to them as well.
Yes. So I do have an in-call of my own. It is very discreet. So there's a formal application so let me talk about my booking process. There's a formal application that everyone has to apply to. Even if you email me and say you're, 6'2" and you're gorgeous and you're handsome and you have blue eyes, you still have to apply. And then after that application process, we're going to go on a consulting call. In order to get that consulting call, you have to pay the application fee. And that's just like a small, and I mean super small in this day and age, fee just to know that you're good for your funds, so to speak. Like,
smart.
I know it's there. I know you're not messing with my time. And I do mean it's minimal. It's like, I might change it, but it's less than, a drink in New York City. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And from there, we'll do a consulting call. We'll see, are we a good match? Are we into the same things? I do turn people away. If I feel like someone isn't a match for me, if they're looking for other things, I will turn people away and be like, I would suggest this or this or that. Like some people do come to me for, I am a dominatrix. Some people are like, hey, do you do this? That are like more in the escorting realm. I'm like, no, I'm specifically a BDSM mistress. Don't do any of that. So like, I will be upfront with you. I'm not going to take your money if I don't think we're a good match. If I feel a bad vibe, I'm not going to, take your money either. Like when I meet people, it's because I genuinely want to meet people and get to know them and connect with them. So my vetting process is probably a lot more invasive than other people's. And then there's also like, some sort of verification, ID, LinkedIn, something like that to ensure that you are who you say you are. And then after that, I won't necessarily go through like my security procedure afterwards because that's for like only the people that apply and get to that point. But everything is safe, sane, and consensual is like how I like to phrase it for both parties. So I do have an in-call access, which basically means you come to me. So you don't need to rent a space. And that if you do rent a space and you want me to come to you, there's maybe higher security protocols, and also there's a minimum. So there's like more of a 2-hour minimum. Now for my in-call is a 1.5 minimum. And this could always change depending on what it is that I'm prioritizing. I used to offer 1-hour sessions. I don't anymore because it's just it's not enough time for us to really get into the experience.
Yeah, you could barely scratch the surface. So cuckolding is one of my biggest requests from clients. I imagine you must get this, and there's only so much virtually that I can do. And I am utterly fascinated by the things that you're telling me, because the things that you do in person, like I would never do that. And that's why I'm virtual. So tell me about cuckolding, like demand.
Oh, definitely. Cuckolding is becoming a vastly more popular kink. Primarily, I probably blended to the idea that a lot of people were watching more porn. And when you watch porn, you're watching other people. So it's the idea of watching other people rather than a point of view video, but an actual video. And people are gravitating towards that. So it's becoming a growing kink and kind of a harder kink to serve, because there's not many people that understand the idea of cuckolding. So typically in the past, a lot of people go to escorts and be like, oh, can you find a guy to like sleep with in front of me? And they'll do that, but they don't understand the psyche behind it of why a lot of people are interested in cuckold. Yes, there's the voyeuristic aspect, the people that just watch porn and are interested in that. But then we also get into the whole dominatrix aspect, which I think a lot of people, especially when you talk about your podcast and everything, that's what people are really interested in, which is, it could be the teasing, it could be, the small penis humiliation, all while being with someone else in front of them, having sex with them. So like they don't get to, participate in that realm of, having sex. They get to view it, they get to be to an extent involved, not entirely, but there are boundaries to that. But it is a vastly growing kink that I'm finding, and I think a lot of people are looking for the right situation to be in with the right mistress, because a lot of mistresses don't, though they're just BDSM and solo. But I'm lucky that I have a few bowls of mine. So I have people that are available and we can arrange things, and it's a lot of fun.
That's going to interest my clients tremendously. I forgot to ask you earlier, we were talking about couples, but do you ever get females that come to you for solo?
I have had requests from females solo. I didn't actually take them, but I am more excited. I do want to take them on. I think I just get, women are like gorgeous, and so I get a little bit more nervous.
For sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you get requests.
I do get requests, yeah.
That's amazing. And do you mind me asking what kind of requests? Like, can you say what they're requesting?
Honestly, I think a lot of women are interested. I got 2 requests, and a lot of times it's both pegging, but with a woman, and spanking. Like a lot of women want to be like spanked around and everything like that. Yes. So, but they like that feminine energy versus the male energy.
That is so fascinating. If there's anything along those lines that you'd like to share, that's super fascinating to me.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I'm still exploring and still new to exploring my experiences with women. I'm open-minded. I'm not super experienced, but there are like definitely parties where that are more like queer, like open-minded to queer people and everything like that. So who knows? Maybe I'll try some things out.
Well, actually, I think that a lot of people listening would like the fact that you're new to it, not from the aspect or not from the perspective of taking advantage of you because you're new, but the idea that they're going to be nervous and they'd like to learn right along with you. So going to someone who for years and has specialized in this is almost more intimidating. Like, I think that my listeners would be like, oh, that's a great idea. I'd be open to that. I'd be open to learning along with her. So yeah, why not?
Definitely. Like, in the past too, like women have been the ones that have taught me a lot about BDSM and different kinks and how to do things. Like there's definitely been men along the way, quote unquote, dominant men or masters or whatever. And I'd say that loosely because we'll talk about why, but like, and they're always respectful when they're around me, they have to be. But definitely it's really been the women that have really shown me the ropes, and I sincerely appreciate that. And so like if you do catch me at an event and you want to learn something, like definitely we can do that, or you could book a session with me for sure. More about it.
Speaking of which, do you ever take on, since you yourself have mentors, do you ever take on apprentices? Do you ever apprentice anyone?
I would say typically no, unless it was worth my while. I think there's a few reasons, right? I don't want to train my replacement, like someone that's going to take my clients. Like I'm not, I'm still in this industry. I'm not leaving anytime soon. But for someone that really is like, hey, I want to train, I'm willing to pay you and everything, like, or like in passing at a party and is like, oh, how do you do this? Like, I'm totally down to help you. But if you want me to show you the ropes and like do all this stuff for you, and you kind of have the same look as me, and you're kind of like looking at the clients that I'm looking at, like that's not cool unless we're like doing double doming. There's a lot of that in this industry where they're like, hey, teach me everything. And they're also the retention rate about how long they stay in the industry. You will invest maybe like 3 months into another dom, and they will disappear off the planet of the earth. Like it really just depends.
I cannot tell you how valid that is. How many women have reached out to me that want to work with me, that want to apprentice, that want me to share something, and then gone, poof. Like, yeah, I'm so into this, I'm so excited, and then gone.
Yeah. So like for you, it makes like when someone doesn't come with any experience, it makes sense for you to be a mentor, to be a coach, to be a consultant for them. And like, I totally get it. Like that, if anything, that makes sense. I think I tend to gravitate more towards partnerships. Like you tend to do more online stuff. I tend to do more in-person stuff. We'd work great together because you have online clients that are like, hey, let's work for like an in-person session, all three of us. Totally works out. But someone that doesn't come with any experience, they have no clientele, they have no people that they're coming with, and they have no money to pay, it's like, you got to have a little bit of skin in the game. And that's when I recommend like go to parties, learn through other people, learn through, smaller segments of information, do your research online. And that way that you have skin in the game and you're building on your own.
Absolutely. Kenny, I hope you're listening. Yeah. My number one, not millionaire, billionaire client, Kenny, I hope you're listening. I want to fly to New York and I want to do sessions with Sasha, and I'm going to sit and watch, and I'm going to commandeer, just chirp in a few instructions. But yes, I mean, I'm not looking to, like, as we just talked about, there's a big difference between what you do and what I do. But like for one or two of my top clients, like I want my clients to come to you regardless. But for one or two of them, I want to be in the room. I want to see how this goes.
Yeah. You'll be with a glass of champagne, yes. Putting your feet up on the sub. I'll make them do all sorts of other things too.
Oh my God, I'm salivating, Sasha. I'm salivating. So as far as my listeners, my followers, the things that they're going to want to know is, can they reach out to you and ask about a specific fantasy? Like they should know that they're welcome to ask questions because you're happy to do what you will do within the confines of your limitations and your specialties, but they can always reach out and ask, right?
Yeah. So I have certain strict rules about asking about specific things. What I recommend is always, always, always fill out an application, because we could talk on the phone about those specifically. If you aren't at that point of asking that serious of a question that you want to eventually meet me in person, you can always join my loyal fans and ask me on there. That way it's on the confines of like, hey, we know what's going on. We know you're not just trying to get free chat from me, because loyal fans, they do charge on loyal fans. But it's so nominal. It's so minimal. Like I'll answer anything on loyal fans. But if you do have intentions of meeting me and it is a longer conversation, your best bet is the consulting call. Like it's less than, a cup of coffee. It's less than a drink in Manhattan. And you're getting anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes of my time to answer questions. But, I hope that you're serious about actually meeting and sessioning with me. So that's kind of the difference.
And when people come to you, when clients come to you for the first time, is there anything that you've seen that you wish that first timers knew, or a regular client would tell a first timer? Any advice, anything along those lines? like what to bring, what to wear, what to expect?
Yeah, I definitely go through this on the consulting call, but I always recommend, I mean, hygiene is like number one, shower before or shower while you're here with me. That's like number one. After that, I would say like be open-minded. I would say for first timers, what it really looks like and what a first time session is going to look like, it's like a little tasting menu. We're going to try a few things out. We're going to see what you like. We're like, maybe you like the caviar better than the steak. And we're going to try to like pinpoint where your kinks really are and really get into your psyche. And then from then on, like session 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a good part to really indulge in the things that you like. But I do like to, whatever it is that you think that you're interested in, I do like to expose you to those. And then we can definitely like, if I find something that you like during the first session, I'm going to continue to do that.
Excellent. And what are you able to travel? Like Dutch, my elite escort, male straight escort, who I interviewed last podcast, he said that he gets a lot of international people that, clients that want to fly him to Dubai, to Japan, wherever. Do you travel?
I definitely do travel, and I'm definitely open-minded to traveling. I definitely think escorts get a lot more requests to travel than BDSM mistresses, but who knows? I definitely want to put it out there for any whales, because you kind of do need to be a whale or need to be, have some budget or money to spend for an experience like this. Like you are essentially getting a mistress to come to the city in which you live in. And that is no small cost. You got to cover flights, you got to cover a hotel, all of which are paid to me in advance. Like I don't have submissives book on their credit card or with their points because of safety issues. Like I book all my own accommodations, but I'm paid in advance for them. So that way I'm not cutting in out of pocket for that. And then there's a 50% deposit for whatever agreed upon time. And there's usually a minimum time based on how many days are involved. So like there's definitely a lot of rules for traveling and stuff like that. But I'm super open-minded to it. I travel to California a lot. So it's like usually New York and California. I'm also open to coming to Vegas. So if you have anyone around there. So that sounds wonderful as well.
Oh, this is amazing information. For those of you that are listening that don't know what a whale is, a whale would be one of those not so often clients that we all get who have a really high discretionary amount of money limit, income to indulge in our services, and they're regulars and they spend a lot. They're stay and pay and they have high limit. So it's like kind of like the high limit table at the casino, or
exactly.
Like the brass ring, kind of level. So we're always looking for the whales, but that's not to say that any of us won't work within budget. You just have to reach out and be communicative and ask.
Yeah. And you did mention the word budget. I just want to caveat.
Please do.
I do not do any discounts of any kind.
Okay.
I don't like using the word budget. We can fit within your budget in the realm of you can save to afford us.
Yes. So like when I talk budget, for example, if you're going to book multiple sessions type of thing and you're a regular, you're going to get a lot more flexibility with your dom or your mistress.
And flexibility in terms of like, you might get certain perks and stuff like that. Like I'm always trying to bring new and exciting things to my sessions. Like today I bought some whipped cream, and who knows what I'm going to use that for. Like, so I'll like for the ones that tip, for the ones that are going above and beyond, like I always try to keep it interesting and really make each experience unique.
What are your highest requests? Like, what are your most common requests?
My most common requests are definitely pegging and cuckolding.
Okay.
My trifecta as a dom is pegging, edging, and body worship. So like I love my body to be worshipped. Like, kissing my feet, everything like that. I love that. But I also like there is a whole list, cock and ball torture, spanking, flogging, any sort of anal play. Like there's a ton of things that I'm definitely interested in but as long as it just doesn't hit my major limits, which are blood play, science, medical play, and feminine marks.
Razor, we all are pretty universal on this. No razor play, no blood. no potty play. So pegging, cuckolding, edging, body worship, CBT, controlled torture, spanking, flogging, sissification, sissy play, and sounding would be kind of like your go-to list.
Sounding, golden, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Golden.
like anything that you have questions on, submit it in the application, and I will, definitely talk to the individual about like whether or not it's something that's realistic. Like, if you're like, hey, I want you to arrange a orgy, I'm probably like, probably not.
Exactly.
But, within realistic expectations, there's most kinks are definitely possible.
Sasha, what if a client comes to you and his entire interest is, can I pay you to take me to one of these parties, be it lower level, mid, vetted, or elite? What would you say?
I've definitely done this before. So I think on my ad website, so Tryst, there's a section for going to an event with me. And so I've exposed people to that. Some of these events do require some sort of vetting. So the vetting could be anywhere from like 2 weeks to a month of vetting. And then of course, like the higher end, as we talked about, like you need to be within a certain age and a certain, monetary realm and a certain look in some of those arenas. But some of them, if I'm a member, I can get a +1 pretty easily, all that stuff. So it's definitely a possibility. And I would truly love to that because you get to meet so many other cool people during these parties as well.
Amazing. Do you require any sort of like contract, NDA, any like legalities?
Do I particularly? Not necessarily, but I do. My kind of connotation is that it's a discreet connection. During the vetting process, I have their information, and so if they are going to expose me, I will expose them. But it's not a threat at all. It's just I prefer to be anonymous and unknown, and I'm sure they prefer it that way as well. So yeah,
let's do some rapid fire. I want you to, in your best Pam ADHD style, just throw out a bunch of things that we even touched on or didn't touch on at all that you want my followers, my listeners to hear. Go for it.
Sure. I'm going to try my best. Being pegged does not mean you're gay. So there's that.
Yes. Great. Say it again.
Being pegged does not mean you're gay. It just means that you like to orgasm in a different way.
I love it. This is brilliant. Keep going, Sasha the Destroyer.
Mistresses are not kink dispensers. So if you want something from us, be willing to give us some stuff in return.
I love that. I love this. And I think, too, they need to understand that we have definitely, there's a physical, mental investment in this, but many times it's emotional as well. And like I said, I'm burnt out right now. I'm not taking calls. I roll out of bed, I get my coffee, I look at my computer and I'm like, nope, not today. And especially what I find is if my sex life or love life is lacking, like I can't do this. I'm not at my best because I can't get you off if I have not been satisfied.
That's true. Yeah.
Is there a sweet spot in age, race, creed, color? Like there's no limit.
Obviously 18 plus, and I do check like because there's some sort of ID identification involved, but I prefer probably 25, 30 to 55 is kind of my
25 to 55. Okay. Yeah. Got it. And
I definitely like people that are genuinely submissive versus plain submissive, and there's a slight difference in that. There's men that like genuinely want to submit and worship and everything like that, and there's people that are in it for the kink, which is fine. Either way, you're paying me, so no big deal. But I definitely prefer people that are like, oh my God, like I want to serve you. You're the greatest woman on earth. It's a good thing. Like I love that.
Sasha the Destroyer, this is so valid because there's a lot of alpha men, there's a lot of gym bros, that want to role play in this. And that is a brilliant statement. You'd like them to be genuinely submissive because especially here's switch for safety reasons. You don't know what could go down. I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, all the different scenarios. I myself do not like a switch. I don't believe in a switch. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't switch in sessions at all. I am strictly dominant. Do not ask me to switch. I will not do it. Doesn't matter how much money you pay me. I will not.
And I don't like a male switch. I'm not down. I'm like, pick a fucking team, bro.
Yeah. And I could take you to an event and you could meet a submissive girl and we could tag, we could do it together. We could dominate a girl together. That's totally cool.
Let's do that.
Yeah. But I will not be submissive.
I love this. Okay, give me more rapid fire, Sasha the Destroyer. I am loving it.
Try not to ask me explicit questions in emails. Put that on the application and we'll talk over it on the phone.
Okay. And again, where can they find your application?
They can find my application on my Substack or my FetLife, or there's a link on Twitter. So there's all sorts of different ways to find it. It's going to be, you'll find a waiting list first, and then I will directly email you. Or you could email me as well, which is sashadestroyer1@gmail.com. But I am thinking of moving away from Gmail, so we'll definitely post an update about that.
Okay. And then you've got a website pending. So I know you guys are probably driving as you're listening to this, and you don't have a pen to write it down, and you can't use your phone while you're driving. So just so you know, I was able to Google Sasha the Destroyer, and it all comes right up. So her Substack, her loyal fans, and socials, and those things.
Okay.
Sasha, didn't you have a story when we were going back, when we first connected and we met? Didn't you have a story about a high-profile clientele that you wanted to share?
Definitely. It's definitely high-end people that I've seen before. And I kind of referenced that before with the man who had the penthouse apartment. Like, he gets involved with a lot of stuff. I haven't entirely kept up with him, but yeah, I mean, he's the one that has the dungeon in his apartment. And
In Manhattan.
yes, in Manhattan, mind you, this is probably like a 5 million, maybe even 50 million at that. Like, it's just ungodly amount of money. Penthouse apartment in Soho. And he had a room, a BDSM room, finished beautifully. Like, when you think of, what's that movie?
50 Shades
of Grey. It's like, yeah, it'd be literally like that.
Let me understand this correctly. He had a red room for his own torture.
Yes,
Love
absolutely.
Love it. That is a dedicated sub. Do you guys hear us? How are you going to compete with that? A red room, a $50 million red room penthouse in Soho that we could just come in and annihilate you. I hope you're all getting ideas.
And if the listeners don't have a red room, I have access to dungeons that are like a red room with a St. Andrew's cross and like
explain to my listeners what that is. That's where you strap them to the cross.
You strap them to a cross. So it's not like a classic like Christian cross where it's like vertical. It's crosses like an X, like a pirate X. Like X marks the spot. And each on the bottom and the top, you put your hands and your feet. That way you cannot move. And that's where the fun happens.
Amazing. I have one client who likes to be forced to drink milk, throw up, and be strapped to one of those crosses and spun around and have the shit beaten out of him. You know who you are.
Oh my God.
You know who you are. And yes, I will give you Sasha's information.
Is he in New York?
He's very wealthy. He's young. He's like probably one of my younger, but he's been with me about 5 years. And he's moved from Night Flirt to a competing site, which I'm not going to mention because Night Flirt is about getting ready to sponsor my podcast. So I'm not going to mention the other site that he's moved to. But he is frequenting a dungeon in LA called Venus and Bells. The girls, I guess, I have no idea if this is typical. The girls broke apart and they're now each working out of like their homes or something, but he often would go there and get the shit beaten out of him and they would peg him. And he's like a glory hole guy. Like he's always like, he's just out of.
He likes it rough.
He likes it rough. He will go to the glory hole. He's always looking. I don't know. Are we allowed to? I don't even know because I haven't read my own terms of service. Can we even talk about poppers?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to.
Listeners can Google it.
Yeah. You can Google poppers, and for any of you that want to know, it's basically like taking a sniff, a hit of something, and I have a lot of clients that are popper addicts, and you get this super extreme high that coincides with a sexual kind of intensity. And how do I know this? Because my clients bring it to me. And when my clients say to me, oh, I went to the adult bookstore and I couldn't find poppers, I'm like, that's because you have to walk in and ask for their cleaning supplies, glass case, showcase, whatever, cleaning supplies. You're welcome.
Yeah. And one of my clients told me like the stuff nowadays, like, isn't what it used to be.
Like everything else.
It used to be so much crazier, but now not so much. But yes, still, it's supposedly pretty up there. I don't partake.
So in the old days, we used to have Team Viewer for blackmail clients, and where you could just like remotely take over their computer and drain their bank account. Like the old days of the wild, oh my God, Sasha, the old days of the Wild West of, online domination, submission.
Yeah.
I miss the Wild West days. Not everything is so litigious and it's so overly controlled and patrolled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anyone wants me to drain their wallet on loyal fans, or I have other ways of doing that, we could definitely make that happen. I love a little wallet drain or any sort of financial domination games. Like, so much fun.
So guys, so for any of you that are listening here that are thinking that you're a BDSM mistress, but you are also very happy. You do IRL, which means in real life, but she also does virtual. So she's open to all of those things. And on Loyal Fan, she's at Sasha the Destroyer #1. And I'm trying to think, the party stuff really interests me. Sasha and I are going to do a follow-up to this, but what I want you guys to do as my listeners, whether you're my Findom coaching students or you're my actual clients or you're someone who just stumbled upon me on YouTube, reach out, write questions under this episode so that we can ask Sasha these specific questions for next episode, because I'm going to have her back. We're going to do a follow-up.
Yeah.
And you can do an Ask Me Anything for Sasha. You can reach out with questions. You can use my Spotify, underneath my Spotify and or YouTube. That's where I go when I sit down to answer questions or compile my draft of questions. So go to those two places. And Sasha, is there anything else that you would like to cover or you'd like the listeners to know? Go for it.
If this podcast titillated you at all and you're in the New York City area, definitely reach out. That would be my first part of information here, is that if it's of interest of you, if you're curious about things, I even do, kinky therapy or a kinky phone call where we can talk more about your life and get to know you and learn about your experiences and your curiosities and figure out what you might like. I'm a very safe person to reach out to, and I can teach you the ways that you can explore your sexuality, because there's not enough people in this world nowadays to help you out with that.
100%. I had a submissive say to me recently, there are limited platforms for men like us. And that just stuck with me, because it made me realize how lonely and isolated that community is for finding what they, of course, today the gap is closing and you're seeing more and more opportunity, but still limited platforms and places for these men.
Yeah. And my Substack is also a wealth of information. I think I've produced an article a week in April, it'll be 2 years. It's been a while. It's over 100 articles. I work my ass off for that. It's education. It's, a little bit of teasing. It's a little bit of how to get a BDSM girlfriend. It's how to properly approach a mistress. It's everything under the sun. So there's a wealth of information there. So even that's a community right there to go to.
So when you say Substack, because I'm not really familiar, does that mean that some of your followers can engage with each other? Are there chat rooms? I don't know how Substack works.
There aren't chat rooms. Maybe that is something to work on in the future, a future idea to connect submissive people together. What there is now currently is just a wealth of information. You could subscribe as a free subscriber or a paid subscriber. With a paid subscription, you do get a few extra articles as well that are more premium, that are more they're longer in length, they're more towards things that people would ask me about that would take a longer time to answer. And then you could comment as a paid subscriber, but I do not take any DMs on Substack anymore, because I have a feeling they're going to change their privacy policies very, very soon with a lot of stuff that's going on the internet. So all of my DMs will be handled and managed on my loyal fans. And this is for plenty of reasons, but it's honestly the best way to get a hold of me. You could literally ask me anything and I'll be able to answer. There's the one thing I won't answer is anything about in-person session related. In-person session related is siloed only to my application process. So you can ask me, what kinks are you into? But if you ask me what kinks are you into for an in-person session in New York City on Loyal Fans, that's a no-no. That's against TOS. So all I'll have to say is sorry, I just can't answer this question. I can tell you what I'm into, but I just can't tell you what I'm into.
By a virtual phone session, and then we can go through all of it. Sasha, what if a client asked you, would you meet me at such and such fancy hotel for a cocktail? What would you say?
I do actually do social meetings. If they go through the application process and they submit verification and everything like that, and that also does require a deposit for my time. And if they check all the boxes, I could definitely do an in-person cocktail, dinner, everything like that. I know that connection is super important to people. So that's why I do offer social dates, if you will. If you want to take me to, a Broadway show, I love it. If you want to take me somewhere, I love it. You do have to pay for my time and you do need to be vetted, but that's definitely in the realm of possibilities as well.
Amazing. Sasha, I cannot thank you enough for taking this time, for however on earth you found me, reaching out. Let this be a lesson to the rest of you that Sasha reached out, sent me this beautiful email, explained who she was, and said, I think that I'd be a great fit for your podcast. And I was like, fucking right you are. I am so thrilled that you did this. And it's been such a pleasure, again, meeting someone similar to myself, but you do above and beyond what I do. You do IRL. You're articulate. You're sweet. You are, like you said, the girl next door. You run your business with a beautiful mix of personal care, tailored, bespoke, but also like a sharp, savvy businesswoman. And I have such respect for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I knew we were going to get along. Even the way in which we were talking, we were getting along. So like my advice for any other mistress that's listening to this right now, reach out to her. She's such a sweetheart. And she would really enjoy having more guests on, and you would fit great with her.
Thank you. That is such a beautiful soundbite. And that is exactly what I'm trying to do. My whole platform, you guys, is women helping women. So whether you're a woman who is wanting to get into what we do, or you're another one of us, and you have, of course, a different perspective that you bring to the table, come join us. We're the frontline brigade of BDSM mistresses, Findom, Femdom women coming to the front. We're out, we're proud, and we're coming out from the shadows. We are here to stay.
Definitely. And send those questions in for the Ask Me Anything to Spotify, YouTube for her. And if you're interested, definitely check me out on any of my socials on Substack, Twitter, as well as my email, which is sashadestroyer1@gmail.com.
Are you on Instagram?
I'm not on Instagram. I do have an Instagram. I don't use it.
Okay.
I don't use it.
Okay, guys, know that. And if you're an IG person, because some people are just dyed-in-the-wool IG users, and you want to reach out on IG, you're best to comment under something of mine, because at this point, my inbox is a gauntlet of neediness. And the one thing, and you guys should know this, as dominatrix, mistress, Findom, Femdom, the last thing we want is people pulling at us. So my inbox is just literally a gauntlet of, can I have this? I want that. Can you help me with this? And so I don't even read it. So your best ways to get to me, and like Sasha, comment under something, and then keep those questions coming, because we will do a follow-up episode. And our content,
absolutely.
Yeah, our content is only as strong as the questions you ask us, of course. And we want to deliver what you want.
Well, I think we're pretty strong on our own.
I can say we are. I am so excited. We are strong women. I'm actually moving back east this summer temporarily for 4 years. So I'm going to be about 2 hours from Manhattan. So we have some.
Hell yeah.
We have some pillaging to do. We have some
yeah.
burned down.
Oh my God. So many devious things we can get into. I'm excited.
Thank you, Sasha. This has been wonderful.
Thank you guys so much.
Sasha the Destroyer, thank you for coming on Saint to Siren and breaking the fourth wall with me. This was wildly educational, and honestly, we barely even scratched the surface. We're going to do a part 2 because there's so much more that I want to unpack. The psychology, the boundaries, the behind-the-scene realities, and the questions people are too afraid to ask out loud. So here's what I need from you. I need questions for Sasha. What do you really want to know? Drop them in the comments, drop it on YouTube under any of my tutorial videos, or keep it respectful and keep it smart. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, share, like, subscribe, and rate. RATE. Rate the podcast. That seems to be the only thing that matters. Thank you for joining me for the truth behind the taboo.